The Bible, Bob Proctor, and even modern science agree on one thing. Gratitude and generosity are unmistakable signs of wealth. They don't just attract more, they transform who you become in the process. Because true abundance doesn't begin when you receive more. It begins when you recognize and share what you already have. And when that realization finally sinks in, you may discover you're already richer than you ever imagined. From the beginning of creation, Scripture says that humanity was made in the image and likeness of God. That doesn't refer only to appearance. It speaks of the ability to create, to imagine, and to design a life far greater than your current reality. When Joseph received his dreams as a young boy, he had nothing, just a shepherd tending sheep. But the vision inside him was already leading toward palaces, leadership, and prosperity. This is the same principle Bob Proctor emphasized his entire life. Your self-image sets the boundaries of your life. If you see yourself as small, you will live small. If you see yourself as great, you will inevitably be drawn into circumstances that match that vision. Most people never stop to ask themselves, who do I believe I am? How many times have you avoided trying something because deep down you felt it wasn't meant for you? How many times did you assume that wealth, success, or fulfillment were privileges reserved for others, but not for your destiny? This is the invisible barrier that keeps millions from prospering, a distorted self-image. Bob used to say, if a person doesn't change the image they hold of themselves, they can win the lottery and still return to where they started. Because the mind refuses to keep what doesn't match its identity. That's precisely what happened to him. Bob grew up believing he would never have anything. He didn't finish school. He had no good grades, no credentials, and no direction. Furthermore, he worked simple jobs with no future. But when he encountered Think and Grow Rich, he was confronted with a radical idea to create a new image of himself. He began to see himself as someone capable of prospering, building a business, achieving financial independence. That vision became so strong that it completely redirected the course of his life. In less than a year, from a firefighter drowning in debt, he became a successful entrepreneur earning over $100,000. The money was simply the consequence of the inner shift because his mind had already accepted the new identity. Have you noticed that the people who achieve the most are the ones who believe they can, even when they lack resources, even when everyone else says it's impossible? Steve Jobs is a perfect example. He envisioned his products long before they existed. While others saw technical limitations, Jobs saw a personal computer in every home, a phone that fits in your pocket, and did far more than make calls. His vision seemed unrealistic, but that vision shaped reality. Science confirms this principle. Studies in psychology show that when someone creates a clear picture of who they want to become and aligns their daily actions with that vision, the brain begins to operate like a GPS toward that future. This is the phenomenon known as priming. You start noticing opportunities, connections, and resources that you previously ignored simply because now you believe they belong to your identity. But how do you apply this? Start by writing in detail how you want to see yourself 5 years from now. Don't limit yourself to your current reality. Describe where you live, how you work, how you dress, and how you speak, and the kind of people who surround you. Then create a mental image so vivid that you can feel emotion just by thinking about it. This is the exercise Bob practiced and taught. Live it in your mind first, so you can live it in reality later. You can even create a vision board with images that represent your future and look at it every single day. And with every decision you make, ask yourself, does this bring me closer or further from the person I've already decided to become? Maybe you're thinking, what if I fail? What if people laugh? What if I look foolish? That's the fear that paralyzes you. But Scripture says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. The question isn't whether you'll fail. The real question is whether you'll remain the same person who never dared to try. Vision doesn't guarantee a life without obstacles, but it guarantees you won't stay where you are. In the end, wealth doesn't begin in your wallet. It begins in the way you see yourself. If you believe you are small, you will continue to attract small circumstances. But if you dare to see yourself as great, as capable, as worthy, as a child of an abundant God, you will inevitably begin to live on a different level. Stay strong. I'll see you in the next video.